Hello, I'm Dr. Jodie Richardson, and you're listening to Well, Hello Anxiety, a podcast where we end the struggle with anxiety and build our toolkit of practical skills to thrive. Hello, first podcast for December in 2024. Welcome to Well, Hello Anxiety. I'm Dr. Jodie Richardson, and today I'm talking about Christmas stress and hoping to alleviate some of that for you and to really normalise it, because it is a very festive and celebratory time of the year, but it's also a time of the year that can cause a lot of strain because of family dynamics or financial pressures, or if you've lost somebody from your family, as we have, that it can remind you it can be the first Christmas without perhaps somebody very special in your life. And so I really wanted to be quite practical today and to talk about really normalising Christmas stress and hopefully giving you some ideas to think about. One thing that I want you to know is that if you feel that this is a difficult or challenging time of the year, you are not alone. You might look around and see all the beautiful decorations and be going to some of the beautiful festivities and Christmas parties. Please know that if you are struggling a little bit, if this is a difficult time of the year for you, you're not alone in that. Okay, there are lots of people who struggle. I've had years where it has been terribly difficult, and I think with my anxiety, the kids are older now, they're 16 and 14, and I used to have this idea in my head that I'm responsible for the magic of Christmas and for everybody else's happiness. And as a parent, we do want to create a joyful, beautiful experience for our kids on Christmas morning. And with my anxiety as well, I used to have this idea about I've got to get it right. Every present's got to be right. Now, I'm sort of saying right in quotation marks. Like, what does that even mean? And what is it about gift giving that was making me feel under so much pressure? And over the years, as the kids got older and have an understanding about Christmas beyond what they originally used to think about Christmas in terms of, gift giving, and they have a deeper understanding of what Christmas means now, and a real appreciation for this very special time of the year. And so I don't feel that weight of pressure now because I can have the conversations with them, I can talk about it, but also I've developed this whole new perspective that it's really about people and connections coming together and pressing pause, putting down, the weight of the world and the stresses of the year, and spending time together and really celebrating what Christmas is all about. And so this episode is practical. I want to dive in. And the first thing I want to talk about is delegation. So I have realised I really like to have a lot of control when it comes to Christmas. So delegation hasn't always been easy for me because I like to I think it comes back to this idea I want everything to be just so. Not perfect, I've let go of perfection, but this idea of kind of getting it right has made me feel like I need to be the one to have control over everything, or otherwise what could happen? But I'm learning. So what I'm doing to delegate is, and I do this every year because we host, so Peter and I host all of the family every year at our home. And it's a very special day. We invite our beautiful neighbours from next door, and it depends on who's around as to how many people we have, but we can have up to 15 people on the day, which is a lot less than some, a lot more than others. What I do in terms of delegation is I delegate part of the food preparation, and that really helps with the cost as well. So my gorgeous auntie Jen, who's not with us anymore, she used to always bring, oh my goodness, so many beautiful Christmas goodies, a basket full of all sorts of goodies for us. We're really going to miss her this year. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about how we can really honour the people that might not be with us this Christmas that perhaps were last year. So I delegate. I usually do a roast lamb, and somebody brings roast chicken. Somebody else brings a salad. I do some veggies. My neighbour does some veggies in her oven because I don't have a super huge oven. Somebody brings dessert. My mum always makes a beautiful plum pudding, and somebody else brings some sort of nibbles and dips and hors d'oeuvres. And so we have a contribution from everybody that comes that helps to ease the planning, ease the preparation, and ease the financial pressure. And everybody really enjoys being able to contribute something because they're so grateful, I think, to be able to have somewhere to go and to celebrate Christmas. And so they're really happy to do that. So if you have shouldered it all in the past and you're hosting, please start delegating. And if you are comfortable to, there are so many things to do at Christmas time that we can delegate to others as well. That could mean purchasing of gifts or planning of events or wrapping, or the very first thing that I would like for you to do, and this is exactly what I'm doing, is starting with a list and checking it twice. Because when it comes to Christmas, having everything out of our head and onto a piece of paper really helps to ease the mental load. And then we can go about writing down who's doing what and make sure that we're on top of everything that we need to do. So don't keep it in your mind. At least delegate to a piece of paper, if not to the people around you. One of the aspects of Christmas that can cause a lot of stress is financial stress. And so any financial planning that we can do in the lead up and approach to Christmas can really make quite a difference. The more time we have to shop for gifts and to prepare for what it is that we would like to do and celebrate and who we're celebrating with around Christmas, the more time that we have, the more planning that we have, the more able we are to choose with care and be mindful of what we're spending, rather than kind of getting close to Christmas, coming down to the wire and feeling like, oh gosh, I've just got to get something, and we could end up spending more than we actually need to. What we know about gift giving is that there is so much delight for the giver as for the receiver, and a thoughtful, kind gift doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It could be something handmade, it could be something hand-baked. A beautiful friend of mine, Leslie, every Christmas, she does some baking. She does some shortbread, she does some mini Christmas puddings, she usually does some truffles, and she gifts a basket of some beautiful handmade goodies. And they're always so delightful, and I bring them out on Christmas Day and share them with the family. And so some care and kindness and some thought and some time that's gone into a gift is a really beautiful thing to pass on to somebody that you care about, to show that you care about them. If we can reframe what gift giving means, then that's a really good way to help kind of reduce some of the expenses. If money's really tight, there might be some gifts that you won't give this year, and that's perfectly okay. Write a beautiful card sharing your gratitude for the person that you care about, so that they have that to look at, which is really just so beautiful and really, really quite priceless. We all like to be appreciated, and for you to take the time to write a beautiful card and to post it or send it or hand deliver it is very, very special. One of the other ideas that you might like to adopt is this idea of maybe saying to a friend who you always exchange a gift with at Christmas, maybe saying, hey, rather than exchanging gifts at Christmas, why don't we organise to catch up for a coffee before Christmas or after Christmas, perhaps after Christmas, because I'm sure you've got a lot of things in your calendar at the moment. And we can sometimes kind of get hooked on this idea that, oh, I've got to catch up with this person before Christmas, and because we might not have seen people for a long time, and yet that pressure just kind of can drive more stress. And so it's okay to catch up after Christmas. It's a very special time of the year, but it's also one that can be quite socially difficult, especially if you struggle with anxiety. And so just be mindful. You can set boundaries for yourself, and it's okay to say to someone, hey, let's catch up. I would absolutely love that, but how about January? How are you placed for the middle of January? So you can give yourself some space and spread out the events if social anxiety is challenging for you. Look, I went to this event last night and I felt super anxious about going, and I don't experience social anxiety per se, but we know anxiety can be illogical. So please just look after you. We need to make sure that you are well and cared for by yourself whilst you're caring for others as we go through the following weeks, because we don't want you to unravel or become too overwhelmed or just feel so under pressure that you don't get to enjoy the time that you are with the people that you really care about, and enjoy some time off work. All right, so just let's come back to this idea that we really need to look after ourselves no matter what time of the year it is. And if anxiety is a part of your life, then being able to fit in the things that you know are protective, being in nature, going for walks, catching up with a really good friend, doing your exercise, maybe not drinking. We know the impact of alcohol on anxiety. And so, or just limiting that, or just making a choice. I'm going to drive to this event. I might have a couple of glasses of wine at another event. Just be mindful of what your needs are, because it is a time of the year when we can be so focused on what everybody else needs and all of the kind of things that are coming at us that we forget to look after ourselves and set our boundaries. Because Christmas, as it does every year, it's a date in the calendar that will come and go, and we want to make sure that we are in good shape either side of this very special day. Something else that we've done in our family to help limit costs is, instead of a gift exchange between all of the adults, we all bring a small gift to the value of $20, no more. So everybody just contributes one gift that's wrapped and is unidentifiable. And then we play a game as adults where you draw a number. One person draws, if you've drawn number 1, you get to open any gift on the table. You have no idea what you're opening, and then that's your gift. Person number 2, they can choose to steal the gift from person number 1 or open another gift on the table and take their chances. So whoever gets the number 10 or 11 or 12 or the last person, they have the choice of stealing any of the gifts or taking the last unopened gift from the table. It is so fun. It is very, very funny. And sometimes after the game's over, people will do a bit of a swap and an exchange. It's a really nice way at a relatively low expense for us all to have the joy of spending that time together and then playing a game, having a bit of a laugh, and sort of seeing all the different gifts that people have chosen. So that is a really great way to help reduce expenses as well. When it comes to our time, often this is a time of the year where there are a lot of things happening in school as well. And so you might have school concerts or graduations or transitions. You've got perhaps new uniforms that you're looking at getting, or getting some secondhand uniforms for next year. In the past, one of the things that I've done is with my mum, I've set aside a shopping day, and we will start early and plan to spend the whole day kind of ticking off everything on the list. And I've realised that I find those days so exhausting and really difficult, and I know she does too. And so what I'm going to do this year, and perhaps you might like to, is spread it out a little bit. Do what you can online. When you do need to go to an actual shopping centre, maybe limit the time that you're there so that you can kind of conserve your energy and manage any stress and anxiety that you are feeling, so that you are not feeling like you've got to get everything done in the one visit. So that's about time and planning as well. So if you haven't made a start on that, then I encourage you to get going. I certainly will be doing that. When it comes to purchasing gifts, I do know of a number of people who purchase throughout the year. I find that hard because when I'm purchasing a few things for each of our children, they struggle to kind of know what it is that they want. And then that puts me under time pressure, kind of waiting for a decision. And I was chatting to someone the other day who said they literally ask their children to put a list together of, say, half a dozen things. They won't get everything on the list, but the parent can, including links and sizes and colour choices. So this particular mum I was speaking to was like, right, I need every detail. And then of the list that her children give her, she can choose maybe 2 or 3 items, and she knows exactly what she's getting, and it's going to be something that they're going to really enjoy, but they're not going to know what they're getting because, of course, they put more things on the list than that they will receive. And so I know it's such a big part of Christmas, isn't it, this gift giving, which is losing sight of what Christmas is all about, but it is part of our culture, and I think it is important that we work out ways to minimise our spending, recognising that we've all got a lot of stuff we probably don't need, and to make sure that when we are gifting things that will be useful, that don't exceed the budget that we have to spend on gifts, and that we feel good about giving, and that we know will be received with gratitude by the person that we are purchasing for. One of the other things that I find really important at this time of the year are just coming back to that idea of boundaries and being able to say no. We don't have to accept every invitation, right? You might be just loving life at this time of the year and celebrating every second day, and oh my gosh, that's absolutely brilliant, like beautiful, enjoy. Other people will feel like it's really difficult, stressful time socially. If you do find it a little bit overwhelming, think about, if you are going to an event, you don't have to stay necessarily for the whole time. You could maybe go for an hour and a half. See how you're feeling, check in with yourself, and leave a little bit early. We all need to do what is right for us, okay? We are all different in terms of what we need, our social battery, and what we can fit in with everything else that we're doing. If we're working, we've still got kids at school, depending on what it is that's happening for us. We don't need to say yes to everything. And when we are going to an event, it's certainly our prerogative to be able to go along and leave when it feels okay for us to do so. All right, we are really in control of that. So I want you to just keep that in mind when you are socialising and enjoying so many Christmas activities and festivities this year. I mentioned earlier that one of the things that often can happen at Christmas is it might be the first Christmas without a special person in your life, and thinking about ways to really honour that person and remember them. Grief is one of these really difficult emotions, and grief can come and go, but Christmas Day can be a time when it's a real reminder of who's missing. And so have a think about what you might like to do to really honour the person that isn't with you. And I've been thinking about this for my gorgeous Auntie Jenny, and I still can't believe that she's not going to be with us this Christmas. And I know it's going to be quite tough, but I'm thinking, I wonder if I might choose a really beautiful candle to light on the day, and before lunch maybe say a few words about her not being with us, and the gratitude that of course I will have for everybody that is seated around the table. And so it's very individual, but losses can feel heavier and more difficult at this time of the year. And I think when we have that awareness, we kind of know to expect that that could be a part of our experience, particularly on Christmas Day. And if you can think in advance of how to honour any losses, I think that that's something that will make a big difference for the day and how it unfolds and how it feels for you as well. One of the things that, oh my goodness, I don't know if you've had this happen, but sometimes things can go really wrong at Christmas. Sometimes things get spilled, something gets broken, something's forgotten, and it can feel really big. It can feel catastrophic. And any of us who really like for things to go according to plan and something goes wrong, it can feel really difficult. And it's not a big deal, but I remember one year I always make a gravy. I don't eat meat, but I make a gravy, which my mother-in-law taught me how to do. So I roast the lamb, then I use all the juices to make the gravy, and it's a real highlight. Like, everybody loves this really meaty, sort of flavourful gravy. And it's just a small thing, but I'd taken the meat off. I was resting the meat. I'm not bad at cooking meat considering I'm a pescatarian, but then somebody grabbed the tray and washed it, and washed all, of course, all of everything on the tray went down the sink with the bubbles. And so, and I didn't have any kind of instant gravy. And honestly, it is like first world problems. I was just like, don't worry about it. What's happened has happened. It's no big deal. I mean, I guess I wasn't going to be eating the meat anyway, but the day unfolded absolutely beautifully. And whilst the person responsible felt terrible, I was like, well, what's done is done. Don't stress. Like, focus on what we can control. This is a really big thing that helps me with my stress and anxiety, is focusing on what I can control. When something has happened and it can't be undone, I've just taught myself not to expend a huge amount of energy on that and focus on, well, what can I control now? And, let's see what we can do to kind of resurrect, which was not a possibility on this particular occasion, or to, see what we can substitute. And good old tomato sauce always goes, beautifully with roast lamb, apparently. So I want you to have a mindset for Christmas that it just let's remember what we're doing. We're connecting with friends and family, celebrating a very special day, and things might not go according to plan. And when we can have this acceptance around, okay, well, this happened, focus on what we can control, and just be kind to ourselves. Just be kind to ourselves. I think we'll enjoy the day a whole lot more. If you are feeling stressed on the day, remember that breathing technique, or any day. Remember, lengthen your exhale, okay? Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth, lengthen the exhale. Do that 2 or 3 times. That's a really good stress reduction strategy and really settling anxiety as well. Journal, write down anything that crops up, have a little notepad with you, or put notes in your phone. as you're going about your days, as things crop up on your mind, get them down on paper, all right? Get them noted down, because that moves that idea away from your thinking and it frees up your thinking for other things, so you don't feel overloaded with all of the things that you're trying to hold on to in your mind. Some of the things for Christmas that can help is making things ahead. Whatever it is that you are doing to plan and prepare food, think about what you can do ahead and perhaps freeze and then thaw out on the day. Just to kind of finish up, I'm so thankful to have this chance to kind of talk about Christmas and hopefully really normalize this idea that it can be a tough time. It can be a really tough time. It can be a time of really highlighting a sense of loss or stress or challenge. And also sometimes at Christmas we can look and think, gosh, reflect back over the year and maybe not feel as though we've done all the things we'd planned to do, or seen all the people we planned to see, or just achieved the things that we planned to achieve. And so I want us all to be really kind to ourselves. I want you to know that if Christmas can be a bit of a tricky time, that you're not alone, but there are lots of things that we can do to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. I really want you to practice this self-compassion, this idea that you might be having a little bit of a hard time, that you're not alone in that. You really are not alone. And to put your hand on your shoulder or put your hand on your heart and share with yourself the kindness that you would share with a friend. I really do hope that this Christmas is full of really special moments, really special connections, really special celebrations, whether that be with your family, your friends, your church. And I really would love any ideas that you have that have made your Christmas a lot easier, a lot less stressful, perhaps a lot more affordable. Please jump on to my Instagram and share your ideas, or LinkedIn. I think I might do a post on LinkedIn as well. Please jump on and share your ideas for how you make Christmas a stress-free time or a stress-reduced time, so that we can all learn from each other, because I don't have all the answers, but I do hope that some of what I've shared today makes a difference for you. Thank you as always for listening and for joining with me for this episode, and I really wish you a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll be back with you again next week. Okay, all right, take care of you, won't you? Okay, bye. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave a review. To keep the conversation going, I'd love you to join me over on Instagram. You'll find me at Dr. Jody Richardson. Also, if you'd like a copy of my free 5-day mini email course, Calm Your Anxious Brain, then jump over to my website, drjodyrichandson.com, and you can sign up down the bottom. I've really enjoyed having your company. Thanks so much. See you next time.